All right, let's make this work. So today is 1 week. It was a few hours from now. It was 1 week ago that they worked on the knee, and we've been doing some physical therapy type stuff. And I'm going to go through a couple of things, what I've been working on, and you're going to get to see the actual leg here for the really for the first time, I guess. I don't think I've shown it on video so far. So this is the brace that they have us have you wear. And my particular settings, they want to keep everything straight. So they actually set the brace to a negative 10 degrees, and it's locked in there. You can go and make it so you can bend a little bit. You don't put any weight on when you bend. If I've been releasing it to, if I've needed to maybe go and do some exercises while I'm sitting, I've been doing that. Otherwise, it's been locked in 99% of the time. One of the things about this whole process is whenever you do anything, even to get down on the floor, you're gonna sweat. Oh my gosh, that's been such a huge part of this whole process is that you sweat when you do anything. You go from the chair to the kitchen, you're gonna sweat. You go from the chair to the other chair, you're gonna sweat. It's just the way it is. Okay, so there's a couple of things that happen when you've had an ACL and a meniscus repair, is that you're going to end up starting to lose control of your quadriceps and your hamstrings. Specifically, your quadriceps is, and then there's some flexibility and the movements and such that you're also going to have some issues with, and that's what I'm going to be kind of working on a little bit today. But you probably can't see it on the video, but my left leg obviously is stronger right now than my right leg. But if I even sit here and put a little support under there, if I go in even just to tighten up my quads, I can tighten up the left one really quite well. The right one it's a little slow, but it can do it, but it's a little bit slow. So that's one of the exercises actually in the book that they give us. This is from the surgeon, and there's all sorts of different exercises that we're supposed to be doing. And this quad set is one of them. And I found that for me, doing both at the same time was much easier, because when I was trying to do one and it's like, go! And it just doesn't respond. Whereas if you're doing together, then I could get things to respond more. When I do that, I will hear a little bit of clicking in the knee as the muscles are pulling. So that's one I have been doing, but yeah, it's not my super favorite. Another one for range of motion, obviously this is going to be, when I'm doing some of these, that's going to give us more of the straight, and then having the leg in the device is going to give me a straight, and to help keep it nice and straight. The other is when I'm sitting in the chair and I try to put the pillow under the ankle more than under this, so it keeps it as straight as possible. And I do a lot of icing. Actually, I'll just pull my little cuff over here. This is my knee icing cuff, and it goes on, wraps on, and this gives me a level of compression and icing at the same time. Continuous flow of ice cold water, and I'll be going right to that once I'm done with this video. So that was one of them. Another one is where you're kind of sitting and you're doing a leg lift, is another one to activate that quad and strengthen that. Range of motion, when you're sitting in a chair, is they're showing you to use your good leg to pull back to try to get close to 90 degree. You don't want it to go, in this early stage, we don't want to go beyond 90 degree. We want to get it close to 90 degree, but we don't want to be putting a lot of muscular tension on it. So that's why they're saying to use your good leg to kind of help get it there a little bit, so you can feel just a little bit of stretch and you feel that it's a little tight, and then you can kind of work your way back to more of a straight leg with that. Those are really the big ones. They talk about toe flexibility, where you can go and stretch your calves and things out, and I've been working on that a lot, and that part I feel really good with. My inflammation, if you can kind of see, is not bad whatsoever. A lot of it's been attributed to that Breg icing machine, keeping elevated, the rest, ice, compression, which that does, and elevation. Last night was actually the first night that I spent part of the night in our bed. I had my leg up and I was propped up, and it got to a point that about 2 in the morning or somewhere in that ballpark, it was just kind of achy, and it's like, I'm going to go and take some ibuprofen and then come back down and sit in the chair and ice it, and that took care of it. So just a few exercises. I'm doing these a couple of times a day. Yes, that means I'm getting sweaty a couple of times a day. Goodness gracious. This is to a point it almost is, I don't know if it's frustrating or embarrassing. Before the surgery, I was going out and putting, doing 5Ks on that treadmill, put in a little elevation, doing a 5K, every day or every other day. And the days that I wasn't doing a 5K, I was doing 2 miles on the thing. So I was doing either 2 or 3 miles a day for those of you in the States. And it worked well, and I was in pretty good shape. And I'd come in, I was a little sweaty, but not too bad. Right now, I can work up a sweat just putting my socks on. Oh, that's kind of crazy. So I could take the brace off to do little exercises with it and such, but it'll be going back on when I go to get up and move around. And of course, there's no weight being put on it virtually at all. Just when I'm resting the foot, basically with the toe down, is all I've been doing for putting weight on this, because I don't want to be putting anything to put pressure on that knee right now because of the meniscus repair. Not so much the ACL, but mainly that meniscus repair is my biggest concern with that right now. So anyway, I just wanted to give you an update on that. Then sleeping well, pain has been very, very mild. The only time I really notice anything is after I've done some work with it, and then I sit down, a little bit of ice and such, and then I'm good to go again. So anyway, I'm going to do some more stuff, but I just wanted to give you an update. We'll catch you, let's see, probably in a couple of days, because I think we're going to be spending a low-key weekend, and then Monday's our next therapy, physical therapy. I was scheduled to do one later this week, but I'm going to kind of pass on it because I'm going to need those later more, because right now a typical person wouldn't be able to get their leg to that 70-degree angle, which I can do pretty easily. So that's this is like next week's goal for surgery. So I'm kind of ahead of the game a little bit. So I think I'm going to kind of pass on the PT tomorrow, and then once I can do more activities and do more exercises and focus on getting some strength and flexibility back in 2 weeks, i.e. 1 week from today, then I'm going to start getting more into that consistent PT thing, because right now all she can basically do is say, yep, that's your leg. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.